All right, for trig word problems, this is one of the most difficult topics because it really requires, it separates students who are able to just follow a set of steps, which is what a lot of what we focus on in class, compared to now you have to think before you follow a set of steps. So it really separates the thinkers from the non-thinkers, right? So this is a general rule because there's so many different kinds of problems. We need just a general rule that fits everything, and this will work. So if you're frustrated with solving these things, go through these steps slowly, step by step, and really work on your thinking skills, okay? So the first thing is in any problem we have for right now, we're gonna draw a right triangle. We'll get into some other problems later where the triangles are not right triangles, but for now, everything's a right triangle. So you can draw the same triangle for each of the problems. It doesn't matter, okay? You need to slowly read the problem, very, very slowly and carefully, multiple times if needed, right? And in the problem, you'll be given 2, if not 3 parts, right? And the parts are gonna be things like buildings, trees, people, planes in the air, flagpoles, things like that. So there'll be vertical components, and this will be your vertical part right here. Horizontal things will be, it might say the ground, it might say shadows, it might say distances from something, like the distance from the base of a building, or the distance from the flagpole, something of that regard. Okay, so distances away or from are keywords that you need to look for the horizontal piece, and that's going to go here. All right, the diagonal parts we commonly see are ladders, which is by far the most common. Kite strings and cables are just a few. Occasionally we get like an airplane and an airport, and they want the distance between the airplane and an airport. Right? The other thing to keep in mind is this is a side view most times. Occasionally we get one where it's a top view. For most of the problems though, it's side view. So that means that the air is up here and the ground is down here. Okay, so think about where these objects are when you're looking at them from the side. Where would a plane be? Where would a flagpole be if you're looking at it from the side? Okay, so once you identify these things and label them, reread the problems and find the numbers that go to them. Now sometimes they'll tell you all 3 parts, but not all the parts have numbers. Only some of them have numbers. So you need to then plug those numbers into the parts. Right? Now you have to determine where the angle goes. Now sometimes the angle is what you're trying to find, and sometimes the angle is given to you. So in an angle of elevation or depression, those are always going to go on the bottom, which we've talked about in a previous video. Sometimes though, the angle will be described using 2 parts. So it might have something about the flagpole and the cable. So where's the angle between the flagpole, which is vertical, and the cable attached to the top? So that will go there. So you have to use the words and break it down word by word by word to describe where the angle is, okay? Now once you know where the angle is, then we can now go back to what we've just done for the past week and determine opposite, adjacent, and or hypotenuse. And typically only 2 of those are going to be required, right? Not always are they given to you, all right? And then from there, that will determine now are we using sine, cosine, or tangent. If we're given an opposite and hypotenuse in the problem, then we're going to use sine. If we're given an adjacent and hypotenuse, we're going to be using cosine. And then tangent will be opposite and adjacent. And then again, based on the problem, if we're trying to find an angle, we're going to take -1 of sine, cosine, or tangent, whatever we're using in the problem. Or we're going to find the length of the side or the components here. If we need to find these, the variable will be on top or the variable will be on bottom in the fraction part of the equation. And again, if the variable is on top, we're going to cross multiply. If the variable is on the bottom, we're going to switch and divide those parts. So again, reference the other videos that we've talked about for more detail on that. So hopefully this helps you out. This is a tricky topic. Again, it's really a reading comprehension topic more than anything else. The math part doesn't come until way down here. This is all the reading part and really thinking about what's happening in the real world. All right, let's see how you do.